Welcome back. It is May the 1st. It's time for the monthly roundup, and it's everything that I've made in reselling in April. I am going over all my reselling profits and some of my favourite sales, and trying to extrapolate anything I can get, any sort of reason I can get out of these numbers, because I'm going to preface this by saying it has not been the best month on eBay. Okay, so these are my dailies. These are how it started, and it didn't start off very well. I did in my first week. Yes, I did make my biggest amount per day, which was 213, and it has just been ups and downs, and there's no rhyme or reason. This has been the most erratic month I feel in a long time in terms of profits, and I don't know why, because I have been listing probably the most I've ever listed. I've been very diligent, I've been disciplined, I've been, I've listed very consistently this month. And to be fair, it's not like awful, but this is meant to be my 9-5. This is meant to be my main job, even though I don't put in like full-time hours. I basically get a full-time wage out of it, and I still have, but it has not been amazing. My average is not the best throughout the entire month, was about £72, which isn't the best, because I need £100 per day on average so that I can pay my bills and I can live comfortably. That's my happy place. The £100 is my happy place. It means that I'm making more than I did before a minimum wage, and I've got more money coming in. Like, it's basically about 30 to 40% more than what I was earning on minimum wage at the time of when I left. So it's like £100 is good. So at the moment it's at 72, which is not good. And I want to know why, because as I said, I've been very diligent. And if I look at the April numbers, so here's the April overview. I sold 90. Oh, this is just on eBay, by the way. I sold 96 items on eBay. My turnover was £2,155. My ASP still hanging on at £21.18. Cost of goods has gone up this year. I've pushed it up to £4 just to cover all bases. I feel like that's my average roundabout now. Over the past month or two, I've been getting a few higher end items as well. My net profit, look at that, £950. Like, what? And that is including obviously like the cost of goods, and postage and shop fees and everything else. So that's why it's been taken off. Now, £950, it's not great when it comes to just eBay. When you look at eBay here on this little graph, it is not great. The lowest that on record for me has been £1,076, and that was last June. Last April, this will give you a clearer picture. My turnover was £2,974. My ASP was £24 and 20p. My net was £1,747. So it's basically like nearly £800 more last year, and I've sold like nearly 30 items more, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, like practically 30 items more, and nearly £1,000 more in profits as well. It's just, my cost of goods was lower and my net profit was higher. I don't understand how I'm doing so badly this year. And then cut to Vinted. This is Vinted and Depop in the red and blue, and the little yellow there, that's the only one you can see, is Etsy. So my third party platforms have been really an experiment, trying to push and trying to get a lot better. Like last February, I really tried to push it, and it with varying degrees, and it's slowly ticking up, and I'm slowly getting used to Vinted really taking a big chunk. Well, one of my goals for this year was to try and make my third parties collective profits be £1,000, and I did it. Look at that, £1,002.70. Oh, I scraped by, and it has been, if I'll just look at my Vinted, £793. So yeah, £793. It has been my best month on Vinted ever. The previous record holder was in October for £668. So it's basically been £130 more. And this is the thing, it's like I don't use anything on Vinted. I basically just throw things up and hope for the best. Well, that's changed. I've started spotlighting, and I've started using Accelerator, or not just Accelerator, I was doing it manually this month, actually relisting, taking it down, putting it back up by hand, and now I'm using a bot, an extension bot of Accelerator, and it's starting to kind of pick up. Well, yesterday it just kind of exploded on Vinted for me. I don't know why, probably because of all what I've said and done. And yeah, even on Depop, it's kind of bumped up a bit compared to last month, which was the worst month on Depop. Yeah, 209. It's running on average over 200 for the past 6 months. And yeah, it is. I don't know what's happening with Depop. Depop, that might need its own video, because as you can see here, it was going up and up and up. It kind of the odd kind of trip, and it's just, yeah, it's the last really good month was August at £500. I mean, that was last year, and it's like I would love to have it, and I'm not doing anything different. I am literally putting up all the same stuff on all the same platforms at roughly the same price, essentially. And with Depop, ironically, I put on like a permanent like 15% off, so technically it could be cheaper. Anywho, yeah, so it's very interesting what's happening here, and it gets even more interesting because if you're very good at maths, look, there's the what's it? If you're very good at maths, here is the comparison between the Vinted, Depop collective, and eBay. Remember, eBay's meant to be my 9.5. It's meant to be the good. What's it? And look, these have never touched. It came close last year in March, very close, because of Depop doing Vinted and Depop doing so well to take over. Now look at this April. I am earning more on the Vinted, Depop, Etsy third-party apps than eBay, the biggest second-hand marketplace in the world. Why is that? I don't get it. I don't understand, because there's been no difference, and yet the fees of what eBay has been taking have been astronomical this year. Like, it has been unbelievable. Like, Feebay is not a myth. It is their name. It is. I'm really, really pulling out my hair when it comes to eBay. eBay have let me down. I mean, look, I get it, like, marketplaces change and everything, but it's just astronomical. It really is. It's not, I mean, I'm still making money. This is net profit after all. It's not gross, this is net profit. I mean, if I go over to, like, this is just reselling. Like, I've got other irons in the fire and everything. I always put that caveat out. And technically, if you look at my, from December, say, total reselling, which is in the blue, 2,464, January, 2,331, 2,069, 2,040, 953. So between those 3 months, the first like 3 or 4 months, there's only like 100 quid in it. It's not, I'm not breaking the bank. And compared to last year, this is the great thing of having your numbers ready from last year. So April, I did 2,174 last year. It is like £200 different. It's not breaking the bank. Like last month, it was like 2,036 in March last year, and it was 2,040 in March this year. So, like I said in the last month's video, it's comparable, and it is actually going up, like on generally kind of thing. I just need I need eBay to hold steady, or even do better, and I need Depop and Vinted kind of start picking up more, and that's kind of what's happening. So I'm not nervous, and my other income streams, they're doing okay, even though there's a lot changing in my personal life in terms of like finances. Things are I'm not going to have as much surplus money to save or spend, but it's kind of running steady. Look at that. It's not as jaggedy. It's not whiplashing. I would love to be up here in October, close to £3,000. That's what basically I need. Or I want, should I say, £3,000 or more every month. That'd be perfect. But yeah, it's not really where I wanted to be at this point in my eBay reselling career. So as you can see, not good at all. I had that whole issue with impressions for about 10 days, just being completely decimated. That might have something to do with it. Now, the reason why I'm kind of calm is that it's still making me money. I've still made net £1,000 this month. Not the best, obviously, just gone over that. In fact, it's actually the worst. But then Vinted has picked up the slack and then some, and it's free fees on Vinted. So I probably made more on Vinted than I have done if they would have, the same items would have sold on eBay. That's the irony. Now, and obviously this is just my reselling. Obviously got other streams of income as well. I've got other streams of income that are doing okay. So it's not hitting the red line where I'm not making enough money to survive or anything like that. It is. And one thing that is kind of annoying at the moment though is that in April, particularly at the beginning of April, there was car issues I had to shell out for. There was a whole thing. So it's like one step forwards, two step back in terms of finances. But hopefully, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That's what I'm doing. And one of the things to prepare for when it comes to eBay specifically is lowering the best offer price. So on the best offer, you can actually set your price, what you're comfortable at the minimum offers. So if I put this up for 20, if I put this hat up for 20 and I don't want to get offers less than £10, I'll set it at £10. And then anyone who tries to offer me stupid, you know, like £2, £5 offers, they'll get ignored. Surprisingly, I do actually get quite a lot of them, stupid offers. And it's not just for stuff like that, it's for stuff that's like quite expensive, and these send like offers that are literally 20% of what I'm asking. And then they message me saying, oh, what would you let this go for? That's annoying. And it's just like, well, not what you offered for once. But what I think I can do is go through my listings and, or just on a mass edit kind of thing, lower the minimum amount of best offers by about 5%, 5 or 10%, lower that and just see if there's any uptick in sales. Because obviously some people, they make an offer because they want to barter. So to counter offer, there's a reason why there's a counter offer button there, so you can barter away. So I'm still in control of what it sells for, but you know, it might increase engagement. That's what I'm getting after. The next is just lower prices. That's the thing. I could lower everything by 10%. I mean, in terms of net profit per item, say like, I feel like per item, like the net profit on per item, resellers are actually really good at their job, because we can buy something for £1 and then sell it for 10. Well, that's like what, 1,000% markup in terms of percentages. And there's obviously other things as well, like if you buy something for £5 and then sell it for 20, well, that's like 400% markup. And I think the supermarkets and like the fast, obviously they've got stores and chains all around the country. There's hundreds of different opportunities to buy from them, so they can make something like 10-20% margins on each item, each unit. So they can do that. We can't. We're specialists, so we like it when something sells high, obviously, because we're only selling like so many. Obviously the big chains, they sell hundreds of thousands every day, so they can afford those smaller margins, whereas we can't. But lowering prices, I could across the board lower it by 10%. That could encourage obviously activity on your account, but it could encourage people who have looked at the item, they'll get a notification and say, oh, it's actually cheaper, I'll go and make an offer. So it could prompt offers. Also, it could lower the when people use the filter and the sort thing, yours will come up because it's the cheapest. You're not selling it for nothing. I suppose this strategy would probably work. I could do it across the board, or I could do it with my, say, like lowest value items, just to get the ball rolling. My next thing that I'm going to think of, off-site promotions, i.e. socials. So eBay are running this they're really pushing off-site promotions, and it's basically just Google ads and Meta ads and stuff like that. And it's basically just giving them money, isn't it? It's giving eBay even more money. Feebay. That's all it is. It's just giving them more money. But one of the ways that you can kind of do it yourself, DIY it yourself, is build up a social network, sorry, not social, build up a social platform for your store, a dedicated social, like an Instagram account or a Pinterest account. With it means more work there and more faff, but you could build a brand on socials and then forward the people onto, you could forward your viewers or your following to your eBay store or even your Depop and Vinted store, you know. Now, I know a lot of YouTubers, reseller YouTubers, and people who sell on Whatnot, who put their store in their thing. I don't. I'm just, it's just me, and I get a lot of kind of crazies, and I'd rather them not know where I live. Just FYI. So that's basically just personally me. I don't know. It is something that I have looked into. It's on my goals of 2025 to do the Depop one, because I think that Depop is it's its own thing. I'll be talking about Depop in another video, but that's one of the core things that I need to start doing. Now, this is the biggest change moving forward, and that is clothing. So if you look at my sales over the past 18 months, you can really see when I started changing from an everything reseller into a clothing reseller. Now, clothing is everywhere. It's the easiest thing to source, I personally feel, because it's just everywhere. Everybody needs clothing. Everybody's got taste. Everybody shops online for clothing. The clothing market, the resale and secondhand clothing market is booming, and it's increasing for the next, like, what, 10 years. They're saying it's just going to outpace retail clothing. And yeah, every generation is buying secondhand clothing more and more, and wants to as well. So I get it why people want a piece of the pie. And a lot of resellers who I've seen and spoken to and that are on the app, they are clothing resellers, and they are moving towards clothing resellers. Now, I'm still an everything seller. Look, I've got loads of bags full of, like, there's like toys in that one, there's crockery in that one. I'm an everything reseller. However, I cannot deny that I have been skewing clothing for the past year, really, I think, properly. And it's been pushing probably my percentage. It started off at, like, say 20-30% clothing and then everything else, and it's kind of switched. So I think I'm probably at about 70% clothing now and about 30% everything else. And why isn't it that I'm buying more, I'm listing more, and I've gotten very good at brands, and I'm getting the quality of clothing that I'm getting and the brands and everything that's gone up, and yet I'm selling less and buy less. It's not in terms of profit, because the profit is actually not too bad. Like, obviously, when you look at it, I've actually earned less, but because I've been selling less. And that tells me it's not technically a type of item issue, it's just the quantity that is selling. So, like I was saying before, in April, 96 items. Now, obviously, not all of them are clothing, but 96 items in April of 2025, and yet April of 2024, 123. March of 2024, 156, and March of 2025 was 107. So it's like a 50 item difference. The quantity has gone down that I'm selling on eBay. The ASP is kind of it's fluctuating, but the quantity of what I'm selling on eBay has gone down, but the quantity of what I'm selling on third-party platforms has gone up. Does it mean that Vinted is going to be my number one platform? No, I think this is just a fluke. And yeah, I do see a lot of everybody's seeing an influx in Vinted, and how a lot of people are buying off Vinted and a lot of people are selling on Vinted. So I feel like I'm still listing across the board, cross-listing everything the same. I'm still doing what I'm doing on Vinted. That seems to be working. But I am definitely going to try and focus a lot more in crockery, homeware, some electricals, toys, all that kind of stuff for eBay, because that seems to do okay on eBay for me. Clothing does well, but it's doing better, in my personal opinion, on Vinted. I'm still going to watch it across the board, but it means I'm going to slow my roll a bit when it comes to clothing, or I'm just going to get more picky and I'm going to put that capital, I'm going to realign that capital over to other things as well. So yeah, it's just a slight tweak and rejig. Like, the only reason why I'm really kind of went all in on clothing is because it's just in abundance and it's there and it's relatively dirt cheap, if you can find it. But charity shops as well are knowing what they've got, and they are prioritizing clothing because they know that clothing sells really well. I would argue that clothing is their main source of income. So when they do that, they neglect the other things, and that's where I need to go. I'm still going to look at clothing, obviously. I'm still going to have a look around, but like, I'm going to try and move a little bit towards crockery and breakables, and at carboots as well. I'm going to try and get non-clothing items. Actually, last week at the carboot, I did a lot better at non-clothing. So I hope it kind of makes sense, and I hope I'm not panicking, which is kind of great. I'm disappointed that eBay's gone down as bad as as much as it has, but it's still pulling in like a part-time wage, considering I probably do about part-time hours. It's kind of good on eBay and reselling in general. Like, obviously my other things are bringing in money, so I'm not panicking yet. I love you and leave you, but thank you everybody for watching. Please shout out below how have your sales been, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.